A 2-minute recess, and I'm not listening. I don't care how it is. You called me a liar already tonight. You're hearing from me. I'm not listening to you. Listen, you asked this question 14 times in the past week, and you've got the answer. Yeah, go ahead. God bless. Go ahead and leave. Just leave. Oh, you're not. Thank you very much. How many times have you talked to administration to get the answer? I'm going to give you the answer you want. You're accusing me of telling my daughter. You accuse me of telling my daughter. I can read between the lines. Everything that you put on Facebook, your daughter, you just get it right here. And nobody knows what you're talking about. Okay, I'm going to go to something here. You tell me to tell her to shut up a year ago.
Point of order. This is point of order. This is embarrassing as an elected official.
You're right.
I'm going to move to adjourn and excuse myself from this bullshit.
I'm not receiving it. I want to tell these people very slightly. I'm not arguing. Because what you do is okay, but she can't make a sign. I didn't say she didn't do anything. I'm not arguing. What she did was give you the finger, whatever she did. But you can interrupt anybody you want, sir. It's okay. You know, and I don't want to yell. But I'm going to talk to the press then if nobody wants to hear it. Adjournment. Looking for an adjournment. We have 4.
You can spew your bullshit onto them.
We have 4 of us here. That's all we need. Okay. Okay. I just want to welcome. The meeting's done. It's done, but it's not done. Why? Because of that guy. It's over. Young lady, I just want to say welcome. See what you're in for? You know what you're in for? The press. I'm going to talk to you about this issue. He can say everything he wants to, and so can every other council member, but the mayor can't. And that's pretty darn bad, if you ask me. So I'll come right over there and we can all hear it at the same time. Is that okay? And you can put a camera on.
It definitely felt like election season at the West New York Board of Commissioners meeting on Wednesday night, when Commissioner Count Wiley, who was challenging Mayor Felix Roque at the May 12th municipal election, had to deal with a lot of criticism from the crowd. However, he and his West New York United ticket were not shy in firing back.
Hey, somebody, I got some questions for you. Do you live in West New York? Do you even live here?
Frankly, if it's not town business, I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Well, it is town business because you're running to become mayor, and you say you live in West New York, but your wife is a committee woman in North Bergen. Do you guys live separate? Or you live together? Your kids, where do they go to school? In West New York or North Bergen?
You have town business to talk to.
This is town business, man, because the town cares about that the guy who's running for mayor doesn't live in this town. People need to know that. No.
I'm a diehard West New York.
No, you don't. I would never say that. You the first thing you did as a commissioner, you hired North American people. And so you needed to make it more perfect. And if so, there's an issue there. There is an illegality there. Your wife cannot be a committee woman in North Bergen, because then you're saying you live there.
Beautiful person.
It has nothing to do with beautiful. That's hard personal. This is nothing personal.
She does nothing but send over for the town of West New York.
Is she a committee woman in North
right
Bergen?
there by my side.
Do you know one of your candidates? Do you know one of your candidates was to make the voting for?
Let's talk about the $10 million deficit.
Let's talk about any ideas that you have.
Let's talk about the radical fire rates that this administration has caused to West
So
New
why
York.
would you do
$1
this?
million.
What are you going to do
West New
different?
York. Anybody can make it better than with this administration.
The same guy
That's the
said,
reality.
you gotta find a West New York worker you can find one West New York worker that doesn't know how to use a straight
Motion to recess.
to you, West New York, so to you, Listen,
We don't need
to you, West Yorkers are stupid. They're so stupid they can't even use a sprinkler. I'm done.
You wrote a letter to the Board of Commissioners, to the Board of Education, excuse me, alleging that that man, Ricky Solaris, was violating election law. And you know what, Count? It would be okay with me if I thought for 1 second you believed it. I know that you know that that man has more integrity, more decency, more honor than you will ever have. How dare we sit up here and make you the God that you are not? Why don't we talk about the other deeds you've done? Why don't we talk about the fact that you threatened someone in City Hall, a woman, that you would rip her neck off and defecate down her neck? Why don't we talk about that? That's a fact.
You're a sick person.
No, I'm not a sick person, sir. I speak the truth. You don't have to say anything, but I am going to speak.
Very disturbing.
Excuse me, you didn't interrupt him. The way you're gonna interrupt me, sir. I'm entitled to my opinion, and you know that it's true.
No, it's not true.
Sir, you lie. You know you lie. You're an angry, bitter man, and you're a bully. The difference is, you can't bully me.
You're angry. I'm not angry. You are.
If we're gonna tell the truth, let's tell the truth. The first time you and I talked about Ricky, remember? When you said to me, oh, wait, you know, he's been a little too rough on my people. You gotta pull him back. When I become commissioner, mayor, he's out. That's who you are. You're a bully.
Don't do that.
No. I didn't want to do that. I was out. Wait. You're doing it again?
He's a good man.
I'm gonna have to
Listen, Ricky's okay. I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
No, you went to the attorney general's office. He wasn't doing the wrong thing. You know
the wrong thing.
You know he wasn't doing the wrong thing. You know it. I know it. And every person here who has a shred of decency
I want to show you the grace and mercy I had on this man. 3 people want to come forward and go to the state of New Jersey and report him. I wouldn't allow it.
We welcome it,
Because
sir.
it wasn't.
As a matter of fact, I challenge you to do it, sir.
Okay, but you can
For
take
the
the
record,
record.
I challenge you to do it.
I don't need to-
Have you not learned your lesson with Richard Rivera? We should not cast stones when we live in a glass house.
Stop being so
When I headed up the campaign for Chucky and the mayor, I made sure we never disrespected anyone, that we never made it personal. We wanted to keep it clean.
People in the street, never did that.
Excuse me,
You
sir?
don't stand 50 people across the room and intimidate all the people out with us.
Absolutely not, sir. Staring is not intimidation,
It's
sir.
you, right? Was somebody else?
The only one that ever tried to intimidate me was you. Remember when you came over that
You know
day
anything else?
at the Board of Education meeting? For the record, sir, you were no
That's the
saint.
past. We want to move forward.
Do me a favor.
Please.
Just remember this. I was out. My friend Chucky is my witness. My friend Hector are my witness. I was out. I am disgusted by what's going on in our town more than anybody here. I actually live here. I've been here since '97. I choose to live here. I don't need to live here, and yet I stay. I care. You know what brought me out? When I see this kind of disgusting things. You guys want a political war? You got one. Welcome to the game.
Join the list.
That's
Join the line.
And I've seen Commissioner Wiley personally spend over $25,000 of his money. And sometimes we tell him, "Count, stop spending the money. You need it for campaign. You need it for this, that." No. I'd rather spend the $600 on the kids, $900 on the kids, and spend on that. If I lose, at least I go out happy and I did what I had to do. Okay, I've seen him cry for the people. So I can't just sit here and sit and go home and think that people and just let the public think that that's the way it is. Anybody who knows him knows that that's not the truth. I was in Count's house the other night. I know he lives there. Some of the accusations are just so ridiculous. I caution the public to go into this campaigning in a ridiculous route, saying things that are not true, just flying off the cuff. The facts are the facts. I think there's enough facts one way or the other for people to agree on whatever they want to do.
I'm John Hydas with the Hudson County View, the eye of the community.
All right, it's 7:30, we'll call the meeting to order. The clerk will have the roll call. Roll call. Okay. We'll have, next would be the approval of the agenda.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, but I certainly can, I can certainly make a resolution to have someone removed from office that is not an elected official.
You can bring
And
it to
then
the
the council has to vote on it.
You don't send out letters from this city without our approval.
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, I make a motion, I'll make a motion that any letter sent out.
No,
Any
you
letter
can't
that,
make a motion on top of the motion that's already out there.
okay, what's your motion?
My motion is that these letters be approved.
Okay, so take a second.
The second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No,
Well, you can't say no.
yes, I can.
No, you can't. It's a conflict of interest.
Oh, really, my husband doesn't get paid.
It's conflict of
It doesn't matter
interest.
whether
So
you
then you
get
better
paid.
look up conflict of
Yes,
interest.
I have it right
I
here.
voted Don, my vote is no.
I have it right here.
I like the way this guy
So
thinks.
that's the end of that.
No, it isn't the end of the argument.
Yes.
No, it's not.
We even got it in our minutes, when the lawyer told you not to.
No, he didn't say that.
Yes, he did.
No, and I said I would take another advisement, he said, okay.
No.
Yes, I did.
Larry, it's not on the agenda, it was not approved, you put on the agenda,
It's
yeah,
done.
so stop what you're doing.
It's done.
Get back to.
Stick to the agenda like a mayor is supposed
And
to.
now, knock it off. I can bring up what I want to. I am the mayor of this town, and I can bring up what I need to bring up.
You need to stick to the agenda, just like we
Stick
always.
to the agenda.
No, I don't think I have more power, but I have the, I said, subject to the council
It
approval.
was
And
denied.
because
need
you
to
can't
move
vote,
on
yeah,
to
you're
the
trying,
agenda.
you're trying to push this thing over railroad away. That's what you're trying
You're
to do.
trying to railroad.
I'm not the one who sent out letters from the city on my own without council approval.
Well, you certainly have. Yeah, I got a letter from Mr. Rapp, and you sent it to him. without
I
council
called for
approval.
orders of the day, Larry, do you know what that means?
Yes, I
Orders of the day, you
Knock it
need
off.
to get back to
Knock
the
it
agenda.
off. Be
Does
quiet.
anyone second my motion for orders of the day? That has been
I don't
seconded.
have with me, but I'll
We'll
bring it
wait
to you.
for you.
Yeah.
We'll wait for you, we'll give you 10 minutes to hold you.
Mr. Mayor?
What does he say he has?
Yeah. Okay.
What does he say he
Why
has?
not wait for him for anything?
They can keep going, I'm gonna go get the letter though.
You know,
And I'm getting
back
out
to
from
the
the next, so
agenda.
you can find a food shop.
You're going to Larry's house?
There's no wife.
Let's move on, I think you should be out here.
That's how it works. Damn right it is. So
No,
let's get back to
no,
the
you said to
agenda.
go home.
Let's get back to the
No, and
agenda.
he decided to go for me, and I'm here running the meeting.
Well, then run it, Larry.
Okay, I'm just telling you right here, when offices are incompatible, it says generally participants are incompatible, one or more of the following conditions exist, and I have several of these. Where you hire or appoint the other, performance functions that are inconsistent with the other, make contracts with the other.
It's not on the agenda, either you talk to it or I want
We
it.
need to get back to the agenda, or I'm leaving too. You know, so suggest we all.
Not on the agenda, Larry.
I want to get back to the agenda and city business.
So, see, you wanna do what you wanna do. The thing is, we wanna do what's best for the town.
Are you gonna keep the agenda or we don't?
I'm sticking to the
No, you're
agenda.
not.
Yes, I am.
Okay, no, I'm not.
I motion to adjourn, just
Wait a
like,
minute.
let's motion to adjourn first.
No, you
I
cannot.
motion to adjourn, do I just second it?
I will not accept your motion to adjourn because we have not paid the bill.
It's not on the agenda, I'm not
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
know that. But you ain't never gonna get to it. It's not on.
I have the floor.
Why are you taking?
I have the floor. You people.
Yeah, you forget who you are. You are subordinate to the people of the town.
The black people. Your interest is for yourself.
Right.
I can figure that when you mail out these letters. Because now I'm walking out, and once you walk out, I say you don't belong here. You don't want to be a leader of our city, get the hell out. We're trying to.
Right.
Officer, I vote that woman gets removed.
No, now wait a minute.
If she cannot
Now, that-
control herself.
that- Who's running this meeting?
No one,
I am.
look at it, nobody.
I am. Now sit down and what are you, trying to coach?
The rest of us would like to see you all leave.
Start a petition, that's how it works.
We have, start a petition. We have.
Good, I'm glad to
Your
hear it.
aim was to make the city into a city.
Okay. Are you gonna stay or leave?
I'm leaving. You got it right in direction from the leading cities. And you're pulling this stuff again, no.
No, there's nothing in writing from other.
What is this, Larry?
No, that has nothing to do with
Oh,
overruling.
yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm.
Because this is from a league of Minnesota City too. So you tell me what you got. I got a whole book that says what the conflict of interest.
I have a question.
Yes.
How are we ever going to get bill paid and responsibilities of the city
follow through with, if we continue to have officials walk out of this meeting when they don't do it.
I don't know, but I know for a fact that Mr. Gilchrist, before he was terminated, he stated that you cannot leave a meeting without paying the bill. And I have a letter to that effect from Mr. Gilchrist.
Where is that?
I don't have it with me, but I have it. That's right. So it doesn't matter, I mean, I can't carry the whole office with me.
That's the way we serve our country. That's right, every time you turn around and throw in a lawsuit at us. And then you wonder where the city money is going through.
Who's throwing a lawsuit at? Nobody's throwing a lawsuit at.
All this money is going to pay lawyers. That are yelling about the.
That is not true, no.
She's paying. You're paying money out.
I know I'm paying money out, so is the city.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
We
I
have
know.
our own pockets, plus what you're putting us through.
No, that's not come through at all. I have not put anything on you whatsoever.
Oh, Lord. I have to go to work at that. I'm sure glad our legislature in the United States and that just don't get up and walk out without fixing things.
Right.
But how do you fix things like that? Sit down and take your turn.
Pay bill.
They've been after us for, no. Sit down and behave yourself and act like a council member. You want me to behave myself? Yes, how about you? And how about you? I'm just I'm telling the council, just what you come in there and say, I don't like this, I want that.
Mark, put that camera down.
No, he's not.
Put the camera down.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
No, you can't.
Put that camera down.
I just let you guys do that. We are happy with lawsuits in this town. Well, that's tough. Yeah, try me. It's not Rose's fault.
White clean. And then we get that. Losing the second from there. Everybody goes down to you and get the answer. That's not fair. I seen your yard full of cars. When your husband's working, I see him down there. They get their ideas from you. That's what happened to you. They're all washed out. I didn't know. All the cars over there.
We're out for the messenger. Out for the messenger. How you doing? You get a kick out of this one or what? This isn't funny. I didn't say it's funny, but I do get a kick out of it.
We also heard on other parts of this particular position that it was created for community service, community outreach, the community policing efforts that Mr. Oregon has so graciously brought to our city. But the fire marshal was moved to the police department, and he is primarily community outreach. And so there was no need to have community outreach in the fire department when the fire marshal is primarily that person. I do know a little bit about fire. And again, you know, as we sit here, we have not received one shred, one document, one report, one thing from our city manager concerning the EEOC complaint that Mr. Zachrel filed. We have nothing. I have received nothing, and I don't understand why. And then, you know, you have these newspaper reports.
I placed that in an envelope in your box. You should have a copy of that.
That I checked my box this morning.
It was when it was filed several weeks ago, sir.
Now, I have not yet received your response, the city's response. We don't even know what we said to them. We don't even know what we said to EEOC. How can we investigate or inquire and we don't know anything?
We're getting off the, well, we're going to repeal this ordinance or not?
Well, let me help you here, Ellis.
I have something to say too.
Let me help you here, Ellis.
I have something to say.
This is an ordinance to repeal. This is an ordinance to repeal the public safety director's position. The public safety director's position was created in part to use a buffer system.
Excuse me. Excuse me,
Hey, this whole
this
thing,
is a city council.
this whole thing is out of hand.
Thank you. Excuse me.
This whole thing is out of hand.
Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse me.
We're not paying them for this, Mr. Osteen. We're not paying them for this. We're paying Olsen and Olsen for this.
I'm calling for the council to only speak at this time. I'm asking for the council, and this is a discussion among the council, and everyone on this council have the right to be heard and as to the way that they feel. Everyone has to. Excuse me, this is a city council meeting. You do not have that right. But you don't have the right. We can discuss this, but you don't have that right. Thank you. Thank you. And you will. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay,
There, you don't have a forum, you can't have a meeting.
and I can continue discussing. I can still continue discussing. So, yes, ma'am, I can. You can walk out, but I can still discuss. I can still discuss. Thank you very much. Now, okay, I'm going to discuss, and we can continue discussing, but no action will be taken on anything. As a quorum has ceased to exist, we can't continue
our discussion.
Our discussion.
I'll clarify one other thing, Mr. Mayor, that doing the business of this council in front of it, and Ms. Noltmeyer, I'm sensitive to your, if Ms. Noltmeyer is here.
She left some time ago.
Then maybe she'll, perhaps she's watching on television. In case, I wanted to let you know that it is true that there was a subcommittee that was scheduled, and it was canceled due to personal issues from one of the council members that's on it. But I asked for a briefing myself, being on the subcommittee, to get a background on this issue so that I have an understanding going in. So this is kind of a bigger hearing than
I know, but let's be honest. Cam Noltmeyer was a council member for the city of San Fernando. She was a total wreck down there where they made
Mr. Ferry, Mr. Ferry,
they voted against her. She comes here, she wants to destroy the city, and she just throws out little bombs or grenades, and then she leaves without an answer. So the community has to know that Cam Noltmeyer has no credibility in San Fernando, and now she wants to poison our community.
Mr. Mayor,
so everyone has to understand.
Point of order.
Cam Noltmeyer.
Point of order,
is
Mr. Mayor.
poison
Let
and
the man
toxic.
finish. Nobody interrupted you. Done?
It has to be said.
Then go ahead. It's your turn.
No one knows she was a council member in San Fernando where she destroyed the city.
Mr. Mayor.
Now she moves up here and wants to
Point of order.
the city. We have to shut her down. Why? She's poison and toxic.
Point of order.
You put her as the God and the Savior for the city. No, that's wrong.
A point of order, sir.
Cam Noltmeyer is a toxic waste who goes city to city.
A point of order, sir.
No, let him finish. Nobody interrupted you.
As a savior,
Mr.
she's not. She is
Mr. Attorney.
and she is poison, and they should not listen to her.
Mr. City Attorney, do I not have the ability to ask for a point of order?
Google San Fernando City Councilwoman Cam Noltmeyer, and you're going to see that I'm being honest. And he puts her out there as the savior. She's not. She's poison. Okay, go on. Okay. I can only listen so much before I explode and say you're full of it.
Okay, Ted Ben, it's your turn.
Thank you for the floor, Mr. Mayor.
Other people are entitled to the floor.
Yes, sir. I do understand that, but the reason I was asking for point of order, sir, is that we have rules that we are supposed to abide by here on on the dais. And those rules are about common respect to the citizens that come before us. And I don't need to actually get it out and read it word for word, I don't think. But my reason for having point of order was to remind the council that we are not supposed to denigrate, argue with, and put down the citizens that come here, no matter how badly we disagree with them. And although I disagree with many of the things—
I can't put up with her lies.
Mr. Mayor, do I have the floor, sir?
Stories
do I have the
over
floor,
and
Mr.
over
Mayor?
again and be silent.
Mr. Mayor, do I have the floor?
You can tell me to sit
Mr.
here
Mayor, may I have
and
the floor, please?
abide by your rules, but
May I
you
have
use
the
the
floor?
rules as a weapon
May I
against
have
us,
the
and I won't do
floor?
it any longer.
Mr. Mayor, do I have the floor?
I don't know. What do you want me to do?
I
Take you
call it-
out by the stack and swivel?
Call the question. We have a motion.
I
we
do
have a
call the
second. Call the
Yes,
question.
wrap up your comments and let's move
No,
on.
call the question.
My,
Question's been
You only
called.
take so long.
I have the floor.
No, you don't.
I have the floor to finish my comments, sir.
Make your comments brief. Let's wrap it up and move on to the question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the reason that I wanted to bring it as a point of order, and a reason that we have that is supposed to go in a smooth fashion like that, is so that we can do this with decorum, so that we can do it in a calm, collected way. And
If it benefits you. If it benefits you.
And I would like to make it clear that we should be gentlemen and ladies when we are speaking back to one another.
When are you going to learn to be a gentleman?
Let's move on.
We called the question. Let's vote.
I have no problem with
We have an
mine.
appointment with Mr. Judge. We're here to do the town's business. When we conclude that business, I spoke with Judge prior to the meeting, he had no problem. Let's go ahead. No problem at all. Mr. Gallagher, he's not our only appointment, please.
Enough screwing around with open forum. Enough. It's at the beginning of the meeting, it was voted on by this board. Enough. This is BS, that's all it is. Get to business so we get the open forum.
Let's see how long this item takes. Mr. Gallagher,
I got one last point, Joe. 2 weeks ago, I came in here, I requested it on the agenda. I never got a letter or a phone call, yet Jim comes in and he bumps out open forum because he sets a precedent. Where does that come from?
He's conducting town business.
Town business, it has to do with the people in this room. It's not, this is town business. This is all town, these people are town business.
I understand that, but this is financial business that has to be taken care of.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you, let's not go to the open forum anymore. Let's not do it again, Nancy. You're playing with something here. This is political and it's BS.
I'm gonna ask you to please sit down. Mr. Judge.
I'm well, Mr. Castle. Ken Llewellyn, 111 Walking Road. In light of a report that I read in the Kingston Reporter and Ms. Mumford's statement tonight, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask Mr. Gleason. Mr. Gleason, do you now still have, on October 23rd, a residence in the town of Kingston? All these people here want to know. All the people watching want to know. I want to know. I supported you. And if you do not have a residency here, then you shouldn't be sitting in that chair voting on my behalf. Because I supported you. You should have, evidently the reporter called and asked you, and you had your opportunity after Ms. Mumford's statement to rebut her allegations. So through the chair, I ask you to just squash the rumor or confirm it.
So, how do we know town council is it?
You can call, he expects your call, so.
Can I speak?
1 second. In a minute, I promise you can. No, just want him to talk. Wow, you were the one talking about you. Are you not? It's just a question.
Ron, with all due respect, I'm not gonna come up here and say, talk to town council unless I'm talking to town council.
That was not right. I don't think you would.
Accusing her,
Privately, you
that was
would.
not right, accusing her
Pete,
of saying
let's start one
something
at a
that
time.
was said that was supposed to be.
Have you been recognized?
That was not
Have you been
correct to
recognized?
accuse. I don't need to be recognized by you, because I don't recognize you.
Why don't you just shut up for a minute?
You recognize you.
Okay. What are you doing again?
They remember last time. Two things occurred here tonight that drew my interest, and they both involve town council. The first one is, I believe, just a short time ago, Joe, that you indicated that you had gotten an opinion of council with regard to the votes that Mr. Gleason is involved in. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, you did.
Obviously,
I didn't indicate it, I said it.
you said it.
it.
That's even better. Did you get this as a verbal or in a written format?
You told it to me, verbally, yes.
Okay, I would suggest that, and who am I but to suggest
No, that's a good suggestion, I understand.
that you get these things in writing.
This was reviewed by Labor Council, and I'll just comment on some of the things he actually read what he says here. I don't see any practical way to carve out the police or supervisors union. There isn't really a practical way to carve out the police bargaining from bargaining with other unions. So for that reason, I'm afraid we have to leave it the way it is.
Point of information, we hear, please, we cannot hear you over here. Can you hear, would like to hear us?
Okay, I'll tell you what. Could you repeat the microphone is on, then? Could you repeat it?
I'm not the only one, we can, I can't
Yeah,
hear back.
I sympathize, I don't hear well myself. So, now, 1 second, I'm gonna have to repeat what he said. Which part didn't you hear? That's what I want. Anyone else?
What about the residents? What about the residents' choice? You did not mention the residents' choice.
We're in discussion, and here you go.
And there I
But I
go, that's
did
right.
hear you.
There
I
I
want you to know
go.
I hear you
You
very
have to
clearly.
have, residents are here for a
We
reason.
heard from the
That is
residents.
not given them.
We heard, I shouldn't be discussing.
Now, you stop them.
We heard from the residents when they voted for the candidate, did we not? Thank you.
Situation was different then. All right, you're the one who hired this guy, not us. And you're here because of us, and can be taken out because of us.
That's right.
So it's time the residents are here that want this change, not just you or advice of council.
I got a motion, I got a second.
I know what you got,
We're in
Joe.
discussion. I really need you to give me a little order. I don't do this to your meeting.
You don't have the reason to. I'm not playing games. You guys are.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
I'm sorry. Yes.
my suggestion is only to make, if you want to use the word fair, the process fair. I think it's our choice, and we should be the search committee.
That's a good opinion. Doesn't happen to be mine.
Of course.
Well, I think that this Collins Center Recruitment Services, who did a great job in hiring Jill Myers for the town of Chatham. They are professional recruiters. This is what they do. They come to the town, they evaluate it, they look over what the job is, they interview everybody, they find out what you're looking for, they draft up a profile. They really do their homework. They do all the screening, and they bring a minimum of 3 candidates forward for consideration. And yes, there's a fee of $14,000. This is what they do. They're professional. This is what they do.
It's ridiculous to spend that money. And where did you get that? Can I ask you where you got that recommendation from?
I called the man and asked for this information.
Then how did you find out his name? Where did you get that from? Where did you get that from?
Man, contacted me.
Out of the blue, a man contacted you. Sorry.
That's right. Out of the blue, the man contacted me. At about
Because-
11 o'clock this morning, the man contacted me out of the blue. And do you want to know why? Would you like to know why? Because the Board of Selectmen voted that there can be one contact for information pertaining to the former Crown Administrator. And I am that one contact, and the meeting contacted me out of the blue. Believe it or don't, I don't care. The fact of the matter is, that's what happened. In the course of the conversation that I had with the man, I asked him for some information. He told me, and he said, you might not even want to talk to me because I'm the guy that hired Jill Myers away from me. And you know, he seemed like a real gentleman. He forwarded me this information. I'm sharing it with the board. And frankly, I think their services are fully professional. And that's it. It's just, there's the long and the short of it. It was a very simple thing. The man contacted me, asked me a couple of questions, and I asked him.
Now, I'd like to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Did Labor Council recommend this person?
No, I'm back to the same thing. The man called me for the reason that I told you. Because you recall looking right at me, you looked me in the eye, and you said, are you okay with this at that time? And I said, yeah, I'll do it. Remember? Well, this is the kind of thing you get when you say yes to it.
And where are we gonna get that $14,000?
I don't know where we would get the $14,000. I guess we'd take it out of that fund.
What fund? What fund are you
I don't know.
taking it out?
I don't know.
Then,
I haven't got that far.
let's call Elaine up here, finance. Finance committee. Where are you gonna get that $14,000?
We haven't decided that we're gonna do it yet. We haven't decided that we're gonna do this discussion.
Well, he doesn't have the answer, and I'd like an answer. Where's the money coming from?
Yeah.
And I'd like to ask you to call Elaine up here to see if there's any money available to do this.
You know something, David? Excuse me 1 second, sir. I appreciate it. I gotta ask you, this is a discussion for the board. You won't be able to hear if everybody talks.
I have no problem with
We have an
mine.
appointment with Mr. Judge. We're here to do the town.
I'd like to welcome all of you. We have one item on the agenda, as you know, and it is the Hilton Revitalization Project.
We have Frank Fenton, who is not in good enough health on the council, but who is being.
That's not
okay.
appropriate.
No, you know what?
That's not appropriate.
That is appropriate.
That is not
material. No, I'm sorry. I disagree. I do have the right to speak, don't I?
You have the right to speak. You do not have the right to be offensive. I have the right.
I do have the right to be offensive. I do have the right to say something that you feel is offensive. Many of us feel that Frank Fenton is not in good enough health to be on the council. You can boo, you should bring it on. Let's
Darian, go on to your next subject, okay? Please, out of respect for all of us and out of respect for everyone in this room and this council as a whole, don't embarrass yourself anymore. Go on to the next point, please.
I'm not embarrassing myself, and I'm going to finish my point.
What happened to the clock?
I'm going to finish my point, and I'd like you to deduct the time that I've been interrupted. Mr. Fenton is being propped up by relatives and friends, including, that's okay, bring it on, because I am flattered.
I tell you
if I'm getting booed by this group, I am flattered, and I'm almost finished, and I want my right to speak. I have another sentence, and I want my right to speak.
Finish your last sentence. Go ahead.
His wife is a lobbyist and very pro-developer, and she is behind a lot of how he votes. My next point, then we have Linda Briskman, who left the room. It's just as well. She doesn't really care what the residents think anyway, and she is.
Thank you very much.
That's okay. No, I'm going to finish because you interrupted me.
No.
I'm going to finish and say that Mr. Gelshad has never answered about whether his family ever received anything of value from the Hilton.
Darian.
His children had weddings there. We don't know what kind of discounts they got, whether they were comped, and he should have answered that or recused himself.
Why does she think she's entitled to that information?
You were very rude, and you interrupted me, and you should be ashamed of yourself. The 3 people who voted for this project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have reported that to everyone and to you, and you are, again, don't come back.
No,
your time is up. No. It's my turn to talk. Go sit down.
Turn that on. Okay.
My wife is not a lobbyist. She's never been a lobbyist. I had her fill out the lobbying forms when she took the job to do public outreach for the montage.
As you notice, Mr. Fenton is as sharp as a tack. Answered your question. He is not sick. He has a problem with voice, and that was very, very unkind for you to blemish his health and his reputation. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Thank you.
I've been on the city council for 8 years, just about, and I have always enjoyed a spirited discussion of give and take and pro and con. But the level that has been expressed lately, the organized opposition, the personal attacks are beyond anything that I have ever witnessed. And I think that there isn't a one of us up here tonight who can't say that they were ashamed and embarrassed, and how sad there was a camera watching the whole time. What a terrible reflection on our city. Cities everywhere are having trouble with bloggers who have turned council meetings into their own personal venue for expression and for exposure.
This room, there are diverse opinions. There are no right answers, no wrong answers. They are just different answers.
This isn't a ball game, and we're not serving peanuts.
Booing and clapping hand is a form of free speech. You cannot shut them up. But discussions of intimidation of somebody's health and their position and affecting them and ruining somebody's bad name, even though it's free speech, is damn right. It's unkind, uncalled for, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Darian Bourgeois, you should be ashamed of yourself.
All right.
And it comes in as a red line drawing as I sit down at this table. So from now on, I am going to say that in the future, let it be known, if you bring in something at the last minute, I will rip it up in front of you and not take it. Yet he said Councilmember Dashad said at the last meeting, we should disregard what they have to say and leave it to the professionals. Our law
I
works.
did not say that.
You better check the tape. That's
Yeah.
what you did say.
Okay. You can read your speeches that's been written for you. But
You know what, Jimmy? I don't interrupt you.
Wait, please.
Don't interrupt me.
Please, everybody,
Okay.
hold on. This meeting is going to be.
Sorry.
Councilmember Dashad, they are our community and our constituency.
Thank you for clarifying.
You know, it's funny, you always have to get in the last word, don't you, Jimmy? Even though it's my turn.
All right, let's.
Okay, I'm going to continue on.
Thank you.
Speech. Let's go on. Jimmy, knock it off.
Okay.
I've heard enough from you.
All right.
I knew somebody would try and throw cold water on me, but I didn't expect it that way. A red line version and a new version and a new development agreement and something new sitting on my desk.
We heard that.
Wait.
Well, wait a minute, Jimmy. You know what? If you interrupt me,
Wait. Jimmy, we are here all night. So just please. All right, I'm just kidding.
What I'm saying is, show me the whole thing. You cannot. Everyone says we're Jimmy, you know what? I don't talk while you're speaking, and I listen. You know what? During my installation, this group has been the rudest group I have ever dealt with.
Wait.
So knock it off.
Everybody, please, let's have no more talking. Nancy, finish your comments.
Well, I'd like to.
Thank you.
One of us has our own ability to comprehend the material. I am perfectly respectful of the fact, and I believe that Mrs. Krasny is having difficulty, but I don't want the public at large to think that the others are. I have worked with 7 council members, and I have not yet found one that has had as much difficulty following along. I know you've said on many occasions you never expected to win, but you did win, and you've had the job for over a year. This is what the job is. It may not please you. Things move quickly, and you have to be able to keep up. And anyone who has difficulty understanding can get all the tutoring that they need if they make themselves available.
Okay.
I respond.
Do you have a lot to respond?
No.
I'm trying to stick to the topic.
No. I have no trouble understanding, and I read perfectly well. But when I get this much material in a short period of time, don't.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Come on, Nancy, please.
No, I'm sorry. When Linda says no other person's ever had difficulty, well, maybe they haven't been honest or they haven't read it. And that was previously proposed. Please don't talk while I'm speaking. I've had enough of that. No, you stop it over there.
Jesus,
That's
lady,
not
get
appropriate.
on
I
with
don't do
it.
it to you. I think you're terrific, but I wouldn't leave my life support system in your hands as to whether you're going to pull the plug and let me live or die.
Mr. Allergen, would
Pull
you be
that
willing
fucking plug,
to
lady.
accept that we continue this until May
Do us all a
6th,
favor.
next Tuesday, so that we can keep this process absolutely clean and professional and complete the way I think you would probably want us to? So yes or no? No. That's what I thought. Okay.
I'd like to add, I'm glad that everybody knew how I was going to vote because I didn't.
With that, we will continue this meeting until Tuesday, May 6th at 7 o'clock.
Let's get your take.
Thank you. I believe the word ridiculous has been used a ridiculous number of times, but it's not funny. But I'm going to forego that. I'm going to read. Let me know when you're finished. Oh yeah, please. Are you done? Just keep talking.
Councilman Lessig, make your point. Don't engage the other council, please.
Thank you. Oh, really?
Councilman Lessig, please make your point, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I will. I'm going to read from the very first page of our Fraser City Council Rules and Procedures. Authority. 1.03 Council Authority Section 6.7 of the City Charter provides the council shall determine its own rules and order of business subject to the following provisions. We are a council. We are not a mayor and 6 members. We are equal voting members of this council. We're also policymakers. The city manager over here runs the city on a day-to-day basis, and he has needs that need to be on that agenda. Now, what we're discussing here today, if there's 4 affirmative votes, we can change that. If there are not, it does not change. So remove the personal aspect of it. This is about getting the city business done. I have been watching this. I've watched over 20 years of council meetings. I've attended nearly 10 years of council meetings. In all of that time, in the last 10 years, it has been the most disorganized from time to time because things would get removed by the mayor that were requested by council members. And I'm not speaking directly about Mr. Nichols. I'm Mr. Haggerty. I can't recall Mr. Jermet doing it. I'm sure it has been done. But the point is that we make our rules here. And if there's 4 affirmative votes, we can change a rule. If there's not 4 affirmative votes, the rule stands. I would like this council rules, this book, to be updated to the current day, because I know that there's some things in here that I can provide to the city attorney and the city manager regarding changes to the 4.04 format. It doesn't have the approval of the agenda on here. I did that, made that change. I suggested that change to Jan Wilson in 2006, and it's not in here. I would like to see this updated to the current rules, and I can provide them, the changes that we've made. So if you don't like the motion, just vote no. If you do like the motion, vote yes. If you'd like to table the motion, make a motion to table it. But really, we can do this business without using words like ridiculous, unprofessional, and not singling anyone out. Let's just get it done.
Make the motion. Acting Mayor Himmelberg.
No, I would,
Councilwoman Foster.
like Mr. Lessig to make his motion.
And again, and I agree. And I'd like to suggest, because this was something obviously that some council members are very passionate about and have been passionate about it several times, that I don't understand why, being so passionate, you wouldn't reach out to other council members and share your thoughts on this. Here's the reasons why. Excuse me, Councilman Blanky, were you not happy with my what I just said? Because you just kind of rolled your eyes and.
Excuse me, Mayor, may I speak? Please don't tell me how to act.
I'm not asking you how to act. I'm asking you. No, excuse me. I'm asking you if you have an issue.
Ladies, let's
Don't
just.
tell me that.
I know
Roll
passions
your
run
eyes and
high.
looked away. I'm asking you if you have an issue with me.
Let's go ahead. The floor is yours, Councilwoman Foster. Councilwoman Blanky.
Again, I'm asking if this was such a passionate subject, I would have been more than willing to explore this. More than willing to explore this. And anybody can look to the ceiling. That's what I'll say.
Thank you, Councilwoman Foster. Mayor Pro Tem Carnegie.
Yeah, I know for a fact that our residents, in talking with some of them, are not happy with our agendas. Some of the comments are made like we're adding things like we did, I think, the last meeting. It's council to be heard and people are turning off their TVs and we're adding things to the agendas. Things have been taken off the agendas. I've heard it from administrations that some things aren't getting put on agendas because we don't want to talk about agendas. So it's not working, and it didn't work before. And not to belittle anybody, but I remember once I wanted to make a donation of money. I was told, no, you can't put it on the agenda. So either way, it's not working. So we have to figure out a way that's going to work. And and hopefully Wayne can, if he wants to weigh in on it, but whatever's going to make the business go smooth, get the business done, that's what we need to do. But this back and forth and adding and changing and deleting, and Kelly's got to send out 3 different versions, and it's just crazy. It's not working. So just my thoughts and the people's thoughts. I get more complaints about it, the agenda being crazy and all over the place, and adding and subtracting and off the roly-poly, back on the roly-poly. So it's something needs to be done. That's all. I haven't had time to really sit down and look at it. But.
Acting Mayor Himmelberg.
You know, I agree. We should make another rule and just change everything up. Because last time we went through this whole war and changed everything up for an electronics ordinance that we threw in, or rule that we threw in, the people that brought it in have been the biggest violators of answering cell phones and walking out of this room during a meeting. That one person voted for the electronics ordinance and keeps breaking it. So let's put in some more pointless rules that will affect the mayor, Ms. Foster, and Mr. Himmelberg, so that, you know, foursome can get their free to do what they want to do.
Councilman Message, go ahead.
I'm not sure. I'm the one that brought up the electronic communication rule, and that phone never leaves that spot. Well, Mr. Nichols uses the phone. He sent me an email during a meeting.
Like you sent me the one I sent you, because I don't recall that. I'm not saying I don't look at my phone because I have a son at home. I'll tell the people there I do check it.
I'll forward that meeting.
I have no issues with it.
Do you want to follow that rule explicitly?
I don't care. I don't even have a phone on me.
Great, that's fantastic. But we're dealing with 4.01 here.
We're going to follow it. Why'd you make it?
I follow that rule. That phone never leaves this spot.
Gentlemen, we're off topic.
No, we're not. No, we're talking about the rules.
We're talking about a different thing.
Hey, he opened the door.
Okay, but we don't have to engage. We continue to move forward.
Well,
we're talking about moving forward in a professional manner. Let's do that.
That's fine. Then I'd like to postpone this until the April meeting specifically.
Here we go with April again. Can't we do another day? I'd like to indulge you. I have no problems with that. We can't cram everything in April.
I'm making a motion.
Look, don't shout at me. I don't know who you think you are, Councilman, but you have to be recognized. I recognize you. I expect respect from you because I give it to you.
Mayor, Councilman, we obviously have rules that govern decorum during the course of the meeting. I'd ask that, for the sake of the residents, everybody take a deep breath and.
I'm fine. I just don't expect to be shouted at by someone who isn't getting their way.
Sir, I was in the middle of making a motion and you interrupted me. If you do not like my motion, please vote no.
Usually do.
Thank you. My motion is to postpone the discussion of agenda item 4.01 until April 2017 so that Mr. Carnegie can review this as well as other council members, and we can address this with a piece of paper with a potential rule or no action at all.
I second.
Okay, good. We got a motion in a second. Now, since everybody's went back and forth with each other and shouted at people, and so calmly, I'm going to tell you this. To Councilwoman Foster's point, I get no communication or very rare communication from members of this council. Councilman Lesich has probably sent me less than a dozen emails.
I'd like to ask to be recognized.
I'm speaking. I'll recognize you when I'm finished. Until then, you're not going to be.
This is a
I'm the mayor. You're not being recognized till I'm finished.
This is a motion to postpone this item. We are not talking about.
We are going to talk about it, and you'll get you recognized when I'm finished. I gave you courtesy. I expect that courtesy.
Stop yelling at me.
I'm not yelling at you, sir.
Mayor, the motion is a debatable motion to postpone. It's a debate of whether or not to postpone or
I'll hold it to my mayor's comments. I'll speak then. That's fine. Go ahead.
I second.
There's already a motion on the floor. In the second.
I second.
She seconded.
I'm re-seconding it.
Okay.
Anybody from the public? Coming back. All in favor to postpone until April 17th?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
When you ever question my videos, get out of here, Louis. Don't ever talk to me again. You're part of the game. Don't ever talk to me again. I've never in my whole career, and I've been with real people in political life who are powerhouse. They never had me, and nobody's ever had me. When I say that, when I go to court, I win because I only say the law. Tony, tell me about this. Tony, councilman, for all those. Who do you represent? I represent the mayor or these council people? Them. You don't. Don't you ever speak to me again. Never pretend to speak to me again.
All those in favor? I don't have to speak yet. Well, you better speak up, boy. Okay. Okay, excuse you? Yeah, that's a little, no, that's very offensive. I'm a council member of the city. Don't call me boy. Act like it. Because I'm trying to speak on ordinance. In timely manner. I barely had the opportunity to speak. Don't talk to me like that again. Don't call me boy. Sounds like a threat. You calling me boy is very disrespectful. Man, I'm not threatening you. You got about 1 minute to get to talking. I mean, it's incredible. It is. I mean, the level of respect in this council. But you're going to call council members boy. You're a prime member of that. So this contract. You're right, councilman member, and that was a slip of the tongue on the bar. All those in favor? Mayor, I haven't had a chance to speak. Okay, certainly.
Thanks so much, David. A tense Jackson City Council meeting today as members voted on their leader.
Yeah, a shouting match started when Councilman Kenny Stokes missed the vote for president. 60 WAPT's Catherine Kine is in the studio to tell us why Stokes says some members went back on their word. Catherine.
Scott and Stephanie, Councilman Kenny Stokes says he was ready for a change of leadership in the city council, but he says a family illness kept him from voicing his opinion today. Councilman Kenny Stokes walked into the city council meeting 10 minutes late, but it was 10 minutes after the council voted to keep Frank Blunson as president and Charles Tillman as vice president. A heated exchange started when Stokes asked why he wasn't involved in the vote.
Did follow the rules and the guidelines, that's all I'm saying. And everybody who was here at meantime, they had the opportunity to vote.
Mr. President, this is item number 16. You don't take up item number 16 at 10 o'clock.
Well, if you were here, if you were here.
Why is that sickness in the family? Now, I'm trying to deal with that. But
Stokes wanted to vote again, but Blunson said they couldn't because Councilwoman Margaret Barrett Simone had already left the meeting.
Ain't time that councilman need to have her behind here. It's council meeting time. Now, you can let them go everywhere else and they can do everything else, but they don't have to be at the council meeting. They can go to a special meeting, they can go to any kind of meeting, but they don't stay for council meeting. And the right council members know that. And you as president need to sit the room and tell them they need to stay here at council meeting like everybody else.
Stokes claims he and other council members had a prior agreement on who they would vote for. He says opponents used his tardiness to throw a wrench in their plan.
And all of a sudden you're going to do Politic 101, the back door method, going to hear them bring the vote up before I get here.
Hey,
Stokes
buddy,
claims
get there early.
The end of this argument. And Kenny Stokes told me he wanted to vote for Councilman Chokwe Lumumba as president. He also says he wants
Should have gotten there earlier.
To rotate the president's seat every year. Scott.
All right. Earl Caldwell.
I make the motion.
Okay. Second on the motion? No second?
Does everybody understand what it is?
I understand fully, Paula.
What is it?
Stand for it. What is it?
What is it?
It doesn't warrant any question on the motion, no discussion on the motion.
It's a routine ministerial thing. It has to deal with information technology. Okay. No second. All right. No problem.
I have a point of order, Mr. President.
Oh, you have number 9 now? Mr. President, you have number 9. You have to get through the motion.
Point of order.
Oh.
Go ahead. Point of order.
Okay, in order to move the forward, I think we need to start cutting. And since we have Catania Engineering and we can bring the police officers standing here if somebody's trash is thrown too high, I move to make a motion to eliminate the code enforcement job.
Can we,
There's-
Mr. Lesherman?
Can we finish this?
Question
Yeah.
on motion, because that would be appropriate under new business.
Yeah.
We are on new
We're on the new
business.
business.
We are
We're on the agenda.
We are on new business.
Let's get these
I
done
make the mo-
first.
I second the motion.
Number
We
9.
can vote on it right now.
Mr. President, you're on number
You made a
9.
point
You
of
need a
order.
motion
You
to
made a point of order.
That's not what a point of order is.
How about we finish items on the agenda?
Right.
Items, then we'll come back to you.
And this thing is sliding into sunset. But you can make a motion at any time. Okay, I do what Mr. McLean
It was
does.
second on the table. The motion wasn't taken off. It was second on the table.
Let's
So
finish these and
how are
then
we
we'll come
gonna,
back to it.
there's a motion on the table and it was second.
Well, we're gonna finish these and come back. to
There
it.
was a motion on the table. and it
It's
was
not
second.
recognized because you're going in order of the agenda.
It was a
So,
motion on the
Mr.
floor
President, the
and it
next
was
order on the
seconded.
agenda is a motion
Nine,
to
there was a
approve
motion on
the
floor
expense
and it
of the
was
conference
seconded.
registration
Why
fee
is the borough
for
manager
council
in
persons
the
Annette
motion?
Ray, Martha Van Auken, and Patricia Williams. That's the item on the agenda. You've got to follow the agenda.
We're going to defer this motion until they take care of the other motions.
Yeah,
Thank
then we'll
you.
But
come
the
back to
motion's
it.
not
Thank
still on
you.
the floor. We
Yeah.
just gotta get to the.
Thank
ball
you.
game.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
what they call
All right, number
Thank
9 is a
you.
motion to approve the expense of the conference registration fee for council persons Tanette Prey, Martha Van Auken, and Patricia Williams to attend the annual conference for the Pennsylvania State Boroughs Association that will be held in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
I make the motion. I second the motion, but I'll never go to my.
Questions on the motion?
Yes, I do. Is there no other council person that is attending this conference?
No.
Well,
No
I
one- no
can't
one's
speak for
attending.
nobody else, but I
No one
can't go.
has-
It's 4 days.
Okay.
I mean, if it was a weekend, I might be able to go, but I can't go like Sunday to Wednesday because of my medical condition.
For the roll
I
call.
can't speak for the rest of the
You
people.
want a roll call vote for this?
Whatever, I don't know.
Any
We
other
didn't finish.
questions? Okay,
Just go by voice vote.
go ahead.
Voice vote.
Roll call.
Voice vote. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, thank you. All right, number 10, can we get a motion to approve the March bill list?
I make that motion. I second that.
Second it, okay, questions on the motion? All in favor? Aye.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I have a problem with the bill list. It seems that Ms. Brown is giving us a list every month of things that are on the same list as last month. She's not telling us what we're paying. I'd rather have this one sheet say bills were paid, one sheet saying bills still outstanding. This is not helping me at all. I have no idea what I'm voting on. This is the same thing I said last month. I
Okay,
don't know what we're paying.
can you clarify that, Mrs. Brown?
Yes, I can. If you would like me to read it line by line.
No.
Police car your rental, $186.
No, you don't have to read it.
Well, how can you be more clarified than this?
We don't want it.
You never provided a bill list for years. You get one every month. It tells you exactly what it is.
She just wants different bills on her every month.
There is different bills on there every month.
No, it isn't.
Every month. These are the bills for March because we have the same bills month after month.
Some bills we
This
do.
is ridiculous.
Motion that we table the bill.
This is crazy.
I make a motion.
Crazy.
To table the bill. Question, please.
Crazy.
Wait a minute.
I have a question.
Go ahead, finish the question.
So if you're saying this is a March bill list,
Okay.
you're saying we're gonna pay $96,000
Borough Carl Wynn.
$50,000 for, police, and we're paying out $13,000 for liquid fuels.
That is
That's
correct.
coming to $163,981.96.
That's correct. That's correct.
Every single thing, where's payroll?
That's correct. This was sent to Stevens and Lee Financial Consultants. The state approved it, and they told me that these are the bills.
Because the bottom.
You need code enforcement.
Personnel.
Code enforcement is a health hazard. Is this because your properties have not been inspected? Why are you eliminating? The borough has to have code enforcement. That is a hazard.
I'm sorry. Can I ask Ms. West, just to clarify, the motion was to, I think you said to eliminate the code enforcement.
The code enforcement position that we have, we're paying in the borough, Mr. Rutland's position. And we still have code enforcement through Catania Engineering.
You don't have daily code enforcement. You only have the building code enforcement. If you came around here, you would understand. They don't do that. You're going to pay them $80 an hour? You are just like her. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're selling your residents right down the tube, buddy. So you're going to pay them $80 an hour to do code enforcement.
Police officers
don't do code enforcement. Learn your role. Learn your role. Go to class. Why don't you go to that conference?
Is there any more council discussion on the motion?
Mr. Rutland, could you please stand up and tell council? I know, hold on.
Wait a minute, isn't this a personnel issue?
This is a question on the motion. A question on the motion.
I'm an up and down vote. Let's vote on it. Roll call vote.
Dan is not here, Paul.
Okay.
Roll
Dan is
call
not here.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know why you're entertaining this motion. It's not on the list.
Can we have a vote? You
That's a shame. That's a shame. Is this because, Mr. Lesher, you asked Mr. Rutland for money for your campaign? And he said no? That's why you're terminating him. You told me that, and you told him. You told us both that we're fired because we didn't give you $3,000 for your election. $3,000. You need to be in jail along with the rest of them. You will be. It's extortion. Extortion.
Freddie, for one thing, Freddie, you want to get rid of the code enforcement, right?
I put a motion on the floor, it's been second, and now we have to vote on it, Mike. You can comment on it. But you can't.
That's all I'm commenting on.
Okay.
That's all I'm doing.
Hey, you can comment.
Who is coming in?
Well, you do have that second organized.
No, you don't. They are certified building officials at $80 an hour.
You gotta know what you're doing.
You have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea because you have fines. You didn't pay. You haven't paid your taxes. Okay? You're upset. You can't take your personalization out on two good employees. I'm not paying you $3,000, and neither is Daniel Rutland.
We don't got to do that. We're going to deal with the problems as they come along.
How dare you jeopardize the lives of the residents? You must have code enforcement. The state's not going to allow you to fire somebody who makes $12 an hour and you hire an $80 an hour person to take his place. You want to be ashamed of yourself. You want to be ashamed of yourself. This man threatened to fire me and Dan Rutland if we didn't give him $70 for his Democrat campaign. And now you're firing him. You're firing
him. How dare you? How dare you? You promised you would fire him and now you are. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Wait a minute.
Because Dad didn't pay him. Dad didn't pay him.
Tell me the reason. Tell me the reason why you want to get.
Dad didn't pay him.
Tell me the reason.
Yeah.
Fred is personnel.
Dad did not pay you $3,000. $3,000 because you're behind in your taxes. You wanted it for your pocket. You wanted it for your pocket, not the election. You also asked the trash contractor for money. You also asked Steve McGonigal for money. How dare you? How dare you do what she has done? How dare you? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed of yourself. Who else did you ask? And you threatened not to give the police car business to him because he didn't donate. Sorry.
A motion is
sorry.
Tabled and seconded. We'll vote that.
Who made the motion to table? Jesse?
Mr. Brundage, I
And who
seconded
seconded it? Okay. Yes, he can. Roll call vote to table.
Let it happen.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to table, so you gotta vote on it.
preference over the.
So, motion to table. Mrs. Van Auken. No, I do not want to table. Mrs. Prey.
No, I do not want to table.
Mrs. Williams.
Absolutely not.
Mr. Mr.
Yes.
Muser. Mr. Brundage.
Yes.
Mr. Lesher.
I'm not tabling the motion.
What is your vote? Yes or no? Are you voting to fire the man that you asked for $3,000 for your campaign? Are you voting yes or
I'm
no?
going along with Pat, Tony, and Martha.
How about that? How about that? So, motion.
The main motion is on the floor.
Okay, the main motion, roll call vote.
Mr. Lesher, are you voting to terminate the man you tried to extort $3,000 from? Are you voting yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no, Mr. Lesher? Yes or no? Now, I'm asking you first, Mr. Lesher. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Order.
Yes or no?
Order in this meeting.
All right.
Yes or no?
Change order of votes.
Yes or no?
Change order of votes. That's a
Mr. Lesher, yes or no?
She is not supposed to be saying anything.
I'm not threatening. I was there when he asked him. And he also asked me.
All right.
Mr. Lesher, yes or no?
Why don't you shut her up and
Order, please. Order.
So you are voting to fire Dan Martin? Yes. Mr. Brundage? Mr. Muser?
No.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs.
We
Platt?
didn't laugh for that.
yes.
Mrs. Van
Thank
Auken?
you. Order.
So you just fired the man that you tried to extort money from. So I guess I'm next, huh? I guess I'm next,
Motion
huh?
adjourned.
No, I have another point. No.
Adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting's adjourned. Meeting's adjourned. Meeting is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned.
Meeting is not adjourned. I have a motion. I want to make a motion to bring a separate borough treasurer in here at $200 a month. Office administrator at $12 an hour, and eliminate the borough manager job. You got a second. Okay, now after this, I want to make a motion to reorganize council.
All right.
Take the vote. Take the vote. This addresses the issues of tipping fees. Now, when that back, when that back is halfway, you know that's a certain amount of weight. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Kind of like weighing pennies to make $1? Exactly right. Okay, that's what I just wanted to understand. So.